all set to go. The red lights go on. Revs rise, and we are Caterham racing again. It's a great jump from Merritt. He really got the launch as soon as the lights went out. But in the second phase of the start, it's Elwood with a better run up through the gears. He beats Merritt down towards Richie's corner. But look again, as it was his start number 1. Watch for the red car on the outside. That is David Rook looking for second place, and he gets it. He gets past Merritt, and also in there too, there's more contact further back. 2 more cars are off, one of which is the number 6. And there was a green cage that went off the road in frustration. Number 6 is Anthony Nichols, who's banging the steering wheel. And Rook goes to the lead, in fact. He's got past not just Merritt, got past Elwood up the inside. So that's him through. I didn't see the other car that went off in terms of the number, but we'll play the game which is called Spot the car that goes tumbling down the timing string, which will happen when they come across the line to end lap number 1. We'll see exactly who it was. Through Palmer for the first time, and Rook leads it then. It's then second place battle between Merritt and Elwood. Elwood to the inside line. Hapgood also defending on the inside from... That's going to be can't quite exactly who that is, but it is the, look at the number in 5th position. It's going to be, it's Henry Morris, I think, possibly, or either Nick Bryant, in fact. Thank you, 28. It's a handy spotter on the grid there, as I'm looking for on the grid sheet for John Ratters. As you come down towards Oggies for the first time. So again, with 2 excellent starts on both occasions, this time it's enough for Rook to get himself to the lead at front of the field. We turn out of Oggies through Williams for the first time. It is Rook from Elwood, from Merritt, from Hapgood, from Bryant in the top 5. Rest of the pack going through. And unlike other times in the leading couple of races we've had in the Caterhams, John, everyone's a little more spread out in this point in time. Everyone's a bit more kind of in their own battles already and getting a bit more spread-eagled than they were in the last couple of races, which is not quite what we usually see in Caterhams. What we do see is almost 4 wide for the lead down towards the complex at Brundle Nelson. Elwood goes to the lead in front of Merritt, so both of them have passed also Rook, and also as Hapgood round the outside. So if he went onto the back straight leading the race, John, in typical Caterham fashion, he ends it out of Brundle Nelson down to 4th.
Again, as we've seen so many times, I don't think I can count on both my hands, that a driver goes onto a straight in one position and suddenly finds at the end of the straight they've dropped quite a number of positions. Here we go then, a little bit wide there through Coram for Elwood, and that just allows for the drivers behind to close up once more. The 111 there of Steve Merritt started in 2nd place, and he is indeed back to P2 by the end of the first full green racing lap then. On to lap 2 we go, and it will be James Elwood who leads us onto it, but the slipstream for the drivers behind might just get them back involved once more, and it will. Up the inside goes Steve Merritt into the lead. Isn't quite able to follow through there is James Hapgood. He sits there in 3rd place and now looks to try and attack, heading down into Wilson. Well, in behind Rook, now under a lot of pressure. Bryant and Waitman getting involved as well. Bryant's up the inside there under the braking zone into Wilson. Looks as though Bryant's just got the place if he can chop back across ahead of Rook before they get to the left-hander, and he will do just that. Through Palmer they go, and position made there for Bryant. Up into the top 4 he is now, as these drivers continue to battle on down. Fun fact for you, when Elwood came to the grid, from him stopping to the 5-second board was exactly a minute. That's how long he had to wait there in pole position.
Yeah, zero temperature on his tyres, clearly. If that was Rook, managed to look after his temperatures much better as one car running wide on the exit. I'm not sure if that's Rook or somebody else, but that's certainly running wide and trying to find a bit more pace. But Rook, again, was leading a couple of laps ago. He's now all the way down to, what, 6th position behind Luke Waitman. The car that went off the road, maybe it was Rook, possibly. See Jonathan Emery in purple and orange there going around the outside in 43. Leaders back in through Williams for the 2nd time. It's now Merritt from Hapgood from Elwood in the top 3. Again, more spread-eagled in this group in the Caterhams here. There's 1, 2, 2 and 12 battling amongst each other. 1, 2, 2 is Louise Deason. A nice little battle scrap with number 12, which is, if I can find them in a minute, we'll go to the seconds. Hapgood goes to the lead. Simon Martin, thank you for that, John. So through Brundle and Nelson go the leaders. Now Hapgood hits the front. We had about, what, 4 different leaders in less than 2 laps, which is pretty extraordinary. But it's typical for Caterham racing. They do that quite often. Through the bomb hole they go. Rest of the field goes pouring through. There's 67 further back. 67, if I look on mine, so it's Ian Hapgood. So while Stephen is up at the front, it is... James is at the front, excuse me. It's Ian who's trying to make his way through in the mid-pack somewhere. There goes James exiting Murray's onto the pit straight to end lap 2, begin the 3rd one. You can see it's getting later in the afternoon now. It's getting a little more sort of late afternoon hazy. As you see, Hapgood sets a new fastest lap of the race. Bryant then takes it. This is the first proper flying lap, and it goes to hit Bryant at a 2:12.9. Not quite the 2:11.1 we saw in the lap record setting run by Steve Merritt earlier on. Hapgood then led across the line. A couple more cars running wide on the exit. The car that was running wide there, I think, was possibly Groom in 7th position. as they come down into the hairpin. The second group was really bunching up into the hairpin behind this leading group of 6 or 7 cars. So again, as Emmet tries to get away, Elwood round the outside into Palmer's. Bryant tries to go with him, but finds the door closed by Hapgood, who was leading a few moments ago. And so as they come down the back straight with Rook and Waitman still in contention, 6 for the lead, but looks like that Groom & Co. are trying to bridge that gap and make it a much bigger train. It's a phrase we used to be saying quite now, in typical catering fashion.
Indeed, yeah. What was it? What were we chatting about that ingredients list early on? Add 2 more caterers.
Yes.
Add 2 more caterers. Add 2 more caterers, and we get a suddenly bigger and bigger squabble at the sharp end. We saw there through the first corner, through the right-hander, that exit curb is almost like a cliff face, and Rook very much found that out, going wide straight over it, and just drags you further off of the circuit there on the exit. He collected it up well, and they continue to press on then in this battle for the lead. We all reshuffle once more here as we continue to head on through lap number 3 of this race. Well, of course, we were curtailed to a total of 15 minutes for this one, so over 1/3 race distance completed then here for the final race of the day in the 135s. Of course, to remind you, the 150s will be back later, but we continue to watch this battle at the sharp end. Little bit of a lock-up there in 3rd place. I think that'll be Elwood there on the 25. He just locked up the tyre ever so slightly there, heading down through Brundle and Nelson, and that just means that ahead, Bryant is now into 2nd place, and he holds it. So Merritt and Hapgood as well. So Merritt through to the lead then. We've got Bryant in 2nd, Elwood 3rd, Hapgood just dropping back ever so slightly, I think. And drivers continuing to press on. But it is Bryant with the fastest lap of the race. He's now in 2nd place. He has the fastest lap of a 2-minute 12.9. Bryant's looking pretty feisty here with just over 8 minutes to go.
I think so. Definitely could be make quite an impact here. Several people take the fast lap of the race. Goes to Noon with a 2:12.1 up the inside. Looks to be, Jamie to 2 for the price of 1. What a move that was! And it's out goes to 1:11 of Merritt. He runs out wide. But that was a great opportunistic pass. Bryant was in the middle. It was Merritt hanging out to dry on the outside line. And Jamie Elwood just took caution to the wind. Said, right, I'm not sitting here any longer. You boys can sit and flounder amongst yourselves. I'm going up the inside of both of you. That was sensational stuff for Jamie Elwood. He takes the lead. He was the man on pole because he's got it back as far as 6th or 7th. Bryant's in the tow with Hapgood behind them in 3rd position. But Jamie Elwood had no consideration at all for Bryant or Merritt. He slipped back to about 6th or 7th. Elwood back to the front with one of the passes of the weekend. 3 wide into Richie's corner, which should be difficult at the best of times and makes it happen like he's been doing it for years.
That was crazy from Elwood, wasn't it? My goodness, the confidence of that man to send it round the outside there in a very sketchy corner. I thought the contact there with Merritt was going to be inevitable. It looked as though Merritt had a bit of understeer, was going towards the rear end of Elwood's car, but just about avoided him, thank goodness. And Elwood, as you say, with one of the passes of the weekend, that one, to get through into the lead of the race. Issue is, though, I don't think we've seen anyone hold the lead of the race for longer than a lap so far in this one. So I think we will quickly see the likes of Bryant and the rest of them in behind all diving on to try and steal the lead away. What was I saying? Bryant goes to the inside line then and should get the run before they even get to the braking zone. Bryant, new driver, to the lead of the race.
Or is it? Because Hapgood went down the middle of both Elwood and Bryant, looks around the outside of Bryant in towards the complex. That's even just as good as the move that Elwood pulled off a few corners ago. So Hapgood splits the two of them, who, for 1st and 2nd. He goes through the middle of them and takes the lead, exiting Nelson. Through the bomb hole he goes. And look at the train, we said before. The more they battle, look at the train, it keeps on going on and on and on. There are more and more casements in the mix. It's testament to how good this race is. The fact that the man in 8th place has the fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 12.121. And I don't think it's going to be beaten too much more because as you're at the back of the queue, as you get a huge sideways moment there as Hapgood pins the throttle on the exit of Murray's to get the run. But he knows he's under threat from Bryant down the pit straight, and Bryant should lead across the line. No, not quite. He doesn't miss it. He misses out on the lead by just 16,000 of a second. 3 wide again. Here comes Elwood towards 4 wide down towards Richie's corner. And Elwood tried to turn in. He found 2 cars on his apex and he's off. Off onto the grass on the outside, loses what? 5-10 places in his sequence. He's got 5 and a bit minutes to try and get it back again. Waitman sets the new fastest lap of the race, but 4 abreast was never going to work into Richie's corner, and that just proved it.
Yep, we find out why, didn't we? And sadly, driver getting chucked off to the outside line. Your pole sitter in this race, James Elwood, has a lot of work to do here over the next 5 minutes. But we've seen in only a couple of corners, drivers can go from 7th, 8th place to the lead. So you never know. He's still not out of the question here as whoa, big tank slapper there through the left of Palmer. One of the drivers in the middle of this squabble, getting all sorts of sideways, but collecting it up well. We press on then, and finally, we're a little bit more relaxed for the top two. I don't want to speak too soon, though, as I'm sure the rest of the drivers behind will be joining the fray soon enough. Where are we looking down to now? We are the top 13, top 14 all in a train. There's another spin there down at Agostini. Can they get it back going? Not quite. Struggling there, stuck on the outside line of the corner. Hopefully they can get that restarted. Well, that's going to be double yellow flags there, at least until the end of the race.
Yeah, Louise Deason going for a spin. She had a spin earlier on. There's also a slippery surface flag down there, so that suggests that someone's dropped some fluid, but it's oil, water, fuel, coolant, something that's gone down there that's causing the problems. But one or two cars going a little sideways. Back to the front of the race, and Bryant takes over into the lead of the race now, side by side with Hapgood. They're also swarming around for third. That's going to be Rook. Also in there too is Merritt and Waitman. Elwood, of course, was third across the line previously, and he is back in about, he's right there towards the back of the queue. He's about, what, 12th or 13th. He's getting back up there. There he is, look, trying to get back up the inside of somebody. That is of 42. Getting that past Neil Warnock. Let's have him back into, that would have been roughly around about 11th place or so. He's got some work to do, and it's not implausible that he can get himself back into somewhere like a top 5 place if he plays his cards right in the slipstream, considering these are long straights. Bryant with a little twitch as he comes out of Murray's corner. Onto the straight now. They've got, I'd say, 2 more laps to go now with less than 4 minutes on the clock. That's 5 laps in the books. Here comes Hapgood back to the outside line. Bryant's the new leader. Not much longer he's not. Down towards Ritchie's. Down the outside goes Hapgood. He goes back in front. There goes also... Rook tried to go around the outside there of Merritt and found that Bryant was right in his view line. He couldn't quite make that stick, so he had to sit back and he lost a bit of momentum. He's now under threat from Morris, Newman and Emery, who are also closing in. As for Elwood, he came across the line 11th, and his actual gap to the lead is 4.5 seconds. So he's got some work to do here in the last couple of laps. Not impossible to get a top 5, but a lot of work to do, of course, as we head back towards Palmer's with 2 laps to go left in this incredible segment 135 race.
This has been brilliant, has it? Honestly, I'm quite happy I don't have a horse in this race, because I'm getting worried enough just watching as an outsider. Great close racing here as we continue on side by side. Down into Agostini once again. Rook looking at the inside line there, potentially thinking he could grab 2. Well, no, has to slot back in and think about a move just then on the 28 of Bryant. So Hapgood moving through then, continuing to reshuffle in this mid-pack. And also to highlight as well, your pole sitter of James Elwood, the winner of both of the 2 races so far here in the 135s. So his little off-track excursion there has opened up the floodgates here for a new race winner this weekend. The question is, who's it going to be?
That's the big question. Going to try and find it out in a lap and a half's time. They head onto the back straight now, off of Williams. So the order is, well, you can look at the timing screen, but it's pretty much irrelevant because Bryant's down to 3rd. It could be down even further because here comes Rook on the background. Also is Waitman. Morris is in there as well. Newman, Emery. See what Elwood's doing as well. They all fan out looking for racing room. Hapgood still leads. It's now Merritt in 2nd place, Bryant in 3rd, Rook in 4th. And there goes Waitman down the outside of Brundle for the inside of Nelson. Gets the undercut and through goes into 4th place. It's now Rook in 5th position. Into 6th place is, that's 198 that's going quite well. That is Henry Morris, who started P6 on the grid. So he's now up into the top 6 positions. There's also Elwood battling away further back. He's getting past, I think, the red car of Groom, Richard Groom, number 23, if that's the case. Out of Murray's for the second to last time with 1 minute and 45 on the clock. Let's see if anyone could try and hoodwink possibly Ian Hapgood here, unless Merritt could try and get him on the pit straight. On to the last lap of the race here in Sigma 135. So here comes Merritt to the outside line. Sweeps across. Hapgood tries to come back in the side draft. Keeps forcing the issue. Up the inside goes Hapgood. He's going to resist. James Hapgood does, in fact, keep the lead. And look at Bryant, because Merritt was running too wide on the outside line. He lets Bryant through easily. The rest of the pack comes pouring through right behind them. They're swarming all over each other down towards the complex here at the hairpin at Wilson. They all hit the brakes. Waitman goes down the outside of everybody. Tries to get past Henry Morris. And Rook is in there as well, trying to get past Jonathan Emery now into 6th or 7th place. This is fantastic stuff from Caterers. It's reminding me exactly why I love this category. We fell in love with it 12 years ago here at Snetterton with the official factory championships, and they're proving it just as well because once again, there goes Emery wide on the curve. It's anyone's guess for the victory, and there's still more than 3/4 of a lap to go here, John.
It is still absolutely anyone's guess, isn't it there? Yeah, where else do you see drivers heading out of a corner there? All of them doing 3 or 4 direction changes, trying to find the right bit of tarmac to try and set them up for the rest of this final lap then. Merritt, Hapgood, Bryant, Waitman, Rook, Morris, and more of them all still in this leading squabble, but who's it going to be when we get to the end of the last lap? And don't forget as well, you still don't know when we get to the apex of Murray through the final corner, because then it'll be using that slipstream in the side draft to get the run to the line. It's usually less than 1/10 of a second in Caterham, so let's see how it is at the end of this one then. Absolutely nose to tail here between the top 9, that must be. Down the back straight we go.
So, for one final time, hold your breath. Here it comes, side by side for the lead. Hapgood in purple, Bryant in blue, but the two cars behind are packing up. It's now Bletsky 4 wide down towards Brundle and Nelson. This should never work. Who's going to come out on top? It's going to be Waitman around the outside of all of them. Fantastic, but he goes too deep. He's going to hold the inside, hold the wall up, and he spins. He's round, makes contact with Hapgood. They all hit each other. Off the road goes 148, and also burst goes Rook. They've all gone to contact. Who's going to lead now? It's Morris versus Merritt, and Merritt holds on around the outside. No, it's Brighton off the road. Goes Hapgood again once more. It's all happening on the final lap of the race. This is extraordinary. So damage to Hapgood's car. He's out of it on the outfield, but it's going to be Bryant, of course, number 28, who holds the line up towards Brundle and Nelson and in towards Morris the final time through all the chaos and carnage of the final lap of the race. Nick Bryant will come through to hold on to a lead. It was the last lap that decided it, and it's going to be to the flag a pretty casual win in the gap, at least, to Nick Bryant. He wins the final race of the weekend for the Sigma 135s in the Caterham Graduates. What a sensational final lap. It's second for Merritt, third for Morris, fourth for Groom. Jamie Elwood comes through in fifth, despite being as low as 11th at one point. That's extraordinary to come back after he made the mistake and ran wide. Hansen 6th, Warnock 7th, Rook came through in 8th after what happened. Snape is 9th, and Waitman comes through in 10th with the final lap of the fastest lap of the race. It's not the other Waitman, it's not Luke Waitman, in fact, it's Adam Waitman, who started 31st on the grid and picks up a top 10 and the fastest lap of the race to boot. John Ratcliffe, what just happened?
Great to have Caterham's back. That's all I can say. That was fantastic, wasn't it? Actually, I was incorrect in saying that we wouldn't know who was going to win out the final corner. But to be fair to me, I don't think any of us were expecting quite that to all kick off at the end of the Bentley Straight.
Well,
what a move it was from Luke Waitman to initially set up the move, but then that just caused the chain reaction.
I wasn't expecting it until they went 4 wide. And I thought something's going to kick off here because it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't work, and it didn't. So, in that sense, that was unfortunately a bit predictable, but at the same time, thoroughly entertaining all round. Obviously, we hope everyone involved in the incident is all right. That's the main thing, of course, on that side. You never want to see incidents. But what a dramatic finish to Sigma 135. If they're all like that this season, I say sign me up. That was fantastic stuff. And again, reminded me why I fell in love with Caterham racing here 12 years ago. It's racing like that and close action like that that delivers it in spades. Brilliant stuff from them once again. And there's still a Sigma 150 race still to go this afternoon. We're being spoiled here this weekend.
Don't let my dad see this because he's going to end up buying another Caterham.
just ban him from watching the stream.
You want to race in the 135s as you stay. We've still got the 150s to go. There'll be a penultimate race of the day later on.
Absolutely. So that's the checkered flag on the 135s. And to confirm the result provisionally, it is going to be a win in what on paper looks like a bit more casual 1.1 seconds, but it's anything but if you watch the final few corners. So by 1.1 seconds, Nick Bryant wins race number 3. Steve Merritt is second, and third goes to Henry Morris after all of that. It's then Groom in 4th, Elwood 5th, Hansen 6th, Warnock, Rook, Snape, and Andrew Waitman, who started back in, I repeat, 31st position. And he, in fact, gets himself an excellent top 10 finish. Martin was 11th, Winrow was 12th, then McCall, Newman, Sykes, James, Morris, Gunter, Turner, and Soden in the top 20. Then Crossford and Hapgood come next. And then it was, the cars that didn't really come through after Hapgood was Munns, Pollen, Griffith, Bateman, Bell, Poulter, Deason, Jeeves, Nichols, Stancer, Koo, and Fry. And we lost Hapgood, Waitman, and Emery. We're going to get our breath back. We're going to hand to handsome Rob Lewis down at the top 3 of our Sigma 135s, and a very, very ecstatic and delighted Nick Bryant after an astonishing final lap of the race. I think we have to still ask the question, Rob, what on earth just happened?
Scott Woodward's asked, what on earth has just happened?
Jeez, I don't know. Oh, God, I haven't breathed for the last 15 minutes.
I don't think anyone has.
Everyone got a bit squirrely down the bridge at the end of the straight, and I think it was anyone's there. I think one of the cars come across, and luckily I just managed to avoid it and come out all right.
Certainly came out on right. You've got the P1. Great result.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, it's been a good battling weekend, and to finish like that, it's perfect.
Perfect, and take it forward to the next round.
Of course, yep. It's my first time in Graduate, so enjoyed it. First one, very good.
Great to hear. Congratulations on a fantastic overall win. We're just going to put in another driver that's just playing a hop skip with our cameraman. Great result for yourself, bringing it home.
Yeah, brilliant. I was just sitting behind the front group of 6 or 7, and then the last lap under the bridge.
Just waiting for the chaos.
Yeah, it just parted like the Red Sea for me. I just saw the gap, went through it, and yeah, cruised through the last corner to the finish.
Yeah, but, you know, third place, you're on the overall podium. Great result.
Brilliant result, yeah, really happy with that. Didn't expect it, but all on the last two corners is fantastic. I mean, that's Caterham racing, isn't it? I mean, you just slipstreaming until the end and then shakes out.
I think that is just Caterham racing in a nutshell. It only matters on the last corner where you are, and then you get the result.
Yeah, exactly, and you see at least there was no slipstreaming to the line this time, a nice big gap. But yeah, often you'll see people like fractions of a second here, but yeah, really good result.
Congratulations, that's our third place overall. If I bring over Steve Merritt, who has been a very busy man this weekend. Steve, you're quite busy this weekend. How was that?
Hard work like the other two. Yeah, that was pretty tough. Some very close racing. Unfortunately, on the last lap, a little bit of contact with a few people, and I think one or two came off at the left-hander under the bridge. But yeah, from my side, it's been a great weekend. So I enjoyed that.
It's been a fantastic weekend for yourself, Steve. I've spoken to you 3 times now, so it's always a good weekend to get it on the podium each time. But what did happen going under the bridge?
We were about 3 wide going under the bridge for the left-hander, and that often doesn't work going in there like that. We're normally very good at working with each other, but I think there was just a little bit of overspeed carried in and not enough space for everyone to fit. So I think it looked, from where I sat, it looked like it was a racing incident, but we'll see. We'll have to see from the footage, I guess. So
I'm sure the clerks will decide. But in the meantime, celebrate what has been a fantastic weekend by this man, Steve Merritt, and he's going to be one of the go-to people in the championship moving forwards.